Well, we're going to transition to our next panel. Really looking forward to this. We have 3 of the panelists coming up. Soniya, Jordan, and Ben, come on out. Come take a seat. We can't wait to learn from you. You have our attention.
Wow, thank you for
your microphone.
Thank you for attention. Big round of applause for Ian for co-producing this event. I'll never get enough praise for what he does. And big round of applause for yourselves here at NFT.NYC. This is Town Hall. One of the main stages here at NFT.NYC. For those uninitiated on me, just really briefly, I'm Jordan French, executive editor and founder at Grit Daily, the news outlet, also Block Telegraph, the blockchain industry trade publication. Often asked a lot of questions, but we're going to do something a little more flowy here. It's going to be really fun, exciting. I'm really excited to be here with Ben Mauro from Huxley. Big round of applause for Ben.
Hey guys.
Yeah, some people know we got some comic fans out there. And Soniya Ahuja, Orbis86.
Hey guys. Good morning. For those up there who are sleeping, hey guys.
It's beautiful here. But Soniya, we gotta tear through a bunch of content. I want to entertain everyone here, that's for sure. But also coach and educate. We have those clear instructions from Ian. I was listening earlier as were you. But why don't you just take a moment, get people initiated on your role in this space, Soniya.
So guys, you can go and look me up on LinkedIn, and if you search for Soniya Ahuja, you'll find everything about me. I'm not going to spend a lot of time boring you about my details. You can always go and look me up. So I'm going to move right on to Ben.
Hey guys, I've been a senior concept designer and art director in the game and film industry for about 15 years, and working on the Hobbit trilogy and Call of Duty and Halo, and over all that time I was building my own IP called Huxley, which we launched about last October and has been out in the world.
Yeah, titles perhaps that we've never heard of if you just heard Ben speak, Halo, Call of Duty, and so on. But Soniya, let's run with you. I mean, let's get right to it, right? And so just to lay some foundation, we've seen some use cases for NFTs. Let's get right to the present where this market's washed out. Cryptocurrency prices are way down. We know where NFT holders stand, at least from a price action standpoint, and largely that might be irrelevant because a lot more is coming. Your take?
So let me ask you, how many of you have NFTs that are not tradable on OpenSea? Oh, that's quite a few, more than what I had expected. As of now, a lot of folks, when they go out there, they think NFTs are just buying monkeys and selling monkeys. And I'll like to quote an incident that happened just at Consensus. I was in the elevator with 2 guys from Polygon Studios. Ironically, they're also the sponsors of NFT.NYC. They saw my shirt and they asked me, oh, okay, so what's Orbis86? I said, it's an NFT project. And then the guy says, oh, NFTs, they're still around? And I told him that, well, the technology is here to stay. He's like, oh, so now you're thinking about the future. I was just surprised. I was going to tell him that, hey, dude, if it wasn't for Polygon, NFTs probably wouldn't have had half the bad rep that they have now. But then he asked me, oh, Web3, what do you think about Web3? I said, I love the promise of Web3 more than the technology, because blockchain, for all the engineers in the house, that blockchain has quite a ways to go before it is ready for enterprise adoption. But I said the promise and the premise of community ownership, community build, putting community in front of creating corporate conglomerates, that is what excites me. And then he asked me, oh, so it's not buying monkeys and selling monkeys? So NFTs are more than that. Yesterday I was talking to William, who is the author of ERC 721, or rather the lead author. And we were discussing this exact same thing. Where else could NFTs be used? And one of the interesting, I was talking to him about using NFTs for subscription, and then he told me, well, now that since it's out there in public, Xbox is using NFTs as a way to manage their royalties and subscriptions. But it's not there in the news because you cannot trade it on OpenSea. So I would like to open it up with that, and then we could dive further into the use cases. But
certainly, it sounds like, let's not name names, because 2 gentlemen at Polygon, if they're still there, because that's an assumption, might might get the axe on you. But I want to pick up on one word that you said, though, and it was more of a focus on enterprise in particular. At least from my point of view, with the journalist hat on, right, is that predominantly NFTs have faced consumers. That's what OpenSea largely does. You pose the question, right, of who, and maybe perhaps too, and maybe they have some enterprise play NFT that we should hear about and get a question from them later. But why focus on that, Soniya?
Well, because of the scale of adoption. Okay, how many, let's take a number from the audience, okay? How many active wallets do you think, on an average, have traded this year? How many active wallets, yeah? You want to throw a number, just shout it out. No, 5. 5 wallets? 3. Well, 5 and 3 are, no, not how many active wallets each one of you have, but how many active wallets have been trading NFTs, let's say on an average over April, March? 3 millions, no? 8,000? A million? It's only 27,000, 30,000, and that's about it. That's not a lot of people, right? How many enterprise users that we have? That goes in billions. So if you think about it, even though the volume is it's in billions, right? The OpenSea monthly volume is in billion, but if you look at the number of active wallets on OpenSea every month, it's close to 30,000 on average. That is not a lot of users trading in NFTs, which is why even if folks over here, you have NFT projects and you're trying to sell it out on OpenSea, you have a really niche audience that you're marketing.
So just to repeat this back to you, we've been misled if we think that NFTs are a retail play, perhaps a community play where I might consider this goes, or we've considered, right, NFTs as a gatekeeping tool, right? We do a lot of community events. Daily bolts on to a lot of other events like Consensus, where we ran, the media stage. It's people want to go and maybe use an NFT to access it, right? In future years, we even saw some iteration of that for tradability or exchanging goods in a retail facing level. But Soniya, it sounds like I and others with that in mind might be misled. You're depositing that this is really an enterprise play all along, just disguised.
It could be both. I'm just saying that, at the moment, what we are looking at with NFTs is just scratching the surface. And I would like to hear Ben's thought on that, too.
I do, too.
Which
Ben?
part? Which part? There's a lot there.
We have a little friction between what NFTs will be used for, just to be fair, and push it into the future. So that's what this talk is about. Soniya, and to be fair, correct me if I'm wrong, sees this as very much an enterprise play. That's where it's going. I believe Foundation that it has been a retail play. She's retorted that it's only a small user base of 27 or 30,000. Remember, I was listening. I maintain, though, and I would argue that this is still predominantly a retail play. Here's why. Even if it is an enterprise play, they're going to need consumers to buy and own NFTs to do something, whether it's the gatekeeping plays like I referred to, or interact with, right, IP, like Huxley.
Sure.
But your take, Ben.
Yeah, well, from my perspective as a creator and just an artist working in Web 2 my whole career, there were so many roadblocks, and just my digital creations were basically useless as far as from a traditional art standpoint, where someone can make an oil painting, go to a gallery and sell it, and we just didn't have that avenue as digital creators. And so for me, NFTs just opened up a whole new world to monetize and sell my work. It was a missing piece in the ecosystem of a digital artist. And so for me, that kind of just opened up a whole new world for that. And me working on an IP my whole career and getting close to being putting it out in the world. And originally it was just going to be going to traditional publishers, and that was my only avenue. And so Web3 and NFTs were just an incredible new way to do this, where if I went to a publisher, they would have taken all my rights, taken the film rights and game rights, and there's just a lot of gatekeepers, and blockchain and Web3 just kind of cut all them out. So for me, it was just an incredible, revolutionary moment as an artist, trying to create things my whole life.
And it's worth unpacking this stack, Ben, because we always got a lot of questions out of this, and I've always had this burning curiosity to always ask artists this, and we always wonder, right, that social media in particular has existed for a long time. We were listening, and you just mentioned that going to traditional publishers, which you certainly might do in the comic book space, or even Hollywood is quite in Bollywood and so on, are quite in closed circles, right, to sell a deal. It's very binary, perhaps you might establish. But social media seemed like it was both the match and Tinder in order to light the fire behind certain artists. And it did seem like that was going to be the avenue. And nothing else was needed necessarily, Ben, beyond that for artists to succeed.
Yeah, well, like before, say, the avenues were like, okay, I could become a YouTuber, I could go on Twitch, I could do these things. But then it's more of me becoming a media personality and selling, how do I make the art? Like, no one would buy the art. You'd have to make a video of like, here is how I made the thing, and make some entertaining video. And you are basically a media person, and I think most artists are pretty introspective and just want to create amazing things, but aren't maybe the most outgoing and don't want to become this kind of media person, which I have friends who are very successful at that, but just I think the majority of artists just are kind of quiet and want to make the best thing possible.
And even and you deposit YouTube as an example, but there's there are some visual social media like Instagram, but still insufficient, Ben.
Yeah, because you are basically having to create attention. You're trying to get attention, which then you can lead to, oh, buy this T-shirt or buy this product. But the actual thing has no value. Like my Instagram post, I can't sell that post. I have to make, it kind of forces you into a scenario where you're like, what gets the most likes? I will make more things like that. And you kind of change everything about yourself just to get this attention, which you can funnel into something to buy. But with NFTs and all of this, it's like, now the art I'm creating has the value instead of, well, no one's going to buy this. There's no way to make money off this. I need to make a video how I made that, and maybe I can sell that video as a tutorial or something.
Yeah, certainly. And upvotes or likes are, hardly qualitative, right? And too blunt of an instrument, perhaps, which certainly brings us to NFTs as a medium for people to buy and sell, including like Soniya and I discussed earlier with these 27 or 30,000 wallets or so that are perhaps we're trading some things in OpenSea. But that brings us to the IP and perhaps also what at least seems like might be the holy grail of NFTs, which is smart contracts, Ben.
Yeah, well, on my end, like my focus was always like building a great intellectual property. That's my background, working on all these big franchises and stuff. So on my end, it was just spending all the years to make a great product before I launched the product into Web3, and working and partnering with people who are experts writing the smart contracts and things to find the best way to put it out there in this new kind of industry.
Certainly, and for Soniya, just for a recap with what Ben has walked us through is further foundation, right? From a creator, it's been a boon. Certainly, to transact the IP itself.
I would like to build up on what Ben shared with us. When you are an artist, like first of all, how many of you here are on YouTube and Instagram?
Sure.
Almost everyone, right? Who has created those videos? Okay, let's say you're a creator. Who created the videos for you or the pictures and stuff? Whoever is posting stuff, you did it by yourself, right?
Half and half.
And after you post it, who owns it? You do own it, but YouTube can take it away anytime they want, right? Instagram can take it away anytime you want. I think that is one of the core things about Web 2, that the stuff that you create, in the end, somebody else owns up, somebody else ends up owning it and monetizing from it. For every million views that you get on YouTube, you get a fraction of what YouTube makes. And it's not just that. I know Ben spoke about how an artist in the world of Web 2 had to go and put himself out there as a media personality. And the way I see NFTs changing that, you still have to market yourself. Marketing is not going to go anywhere because how do people even come and purchase your NFTs if they don't know about you? However, what will change is what you end up getting in your own pocket. So I was talking to this artist, Sam, who had signed a label, who had signed a record with Sony, and it was eye-opening when I understood, when I got to know that all of these record companies, typically, they end up taking away 85% of the total sales that's made. And the artist ends up getting 10 to 15% at most. Now with NFTs, you can reach to your audience directly. I mean, imagine the middleman taking away 85% of the net profits, net revenue, everything that's made. And the artist just getting 15% of that. And those contracts are 5 to 10 years long.
Like that for 50 years.
Exactly, right? And that is what has to change.
The challenge, though, Soniya, right, at least from a pedestrian perspective, is that even if an artist or creator like Ben creates his IP, turns it into an NFT, has the availability of all sorts of smart contracts he can deploy, underneath that for certain conditions to be met, and perhaps, yes, own 100% of the IP and not be at risk of something being taken down. Nonetheless, he's still relying, as it seems like you would concede, and let me know if you do or don't, that you still need to market this. And often it's on Web 2 platforms that are practically monopolies. So we're back to, in part, square one on that premise. Soniya.
We are actually looking at the applications of building Web3 based platforms. So we are an NFT project, we are an impact NFT project, and we are looking to build something that we are calling the LinkedIn of Web3, where you could own the data that you have. I'm not saying that marketing doesn't have to, I mean, Facebook, Instagram, they're great platforms, right? We all have our accounts there. However, what pisses me off is, hey, you make money off my data, give me something. Just throw me a bone, right? And also let me choose. I probably don't want you knowing at what time I eat, at what time I sleep, at what time I shit. I don't want people knowing all of that. But what I do want to share are what are my preferences, right? Because I do like it when ads show me a deal that I can't resist, right? And a lot of females in the room, right? Facebook is very bad at when it comes to shopping. They show you exactly what you want. But the problem is, what do you want to share? Do you have control of that? And if you are the data that is being used to build billions, rake in millions, billions, and trillions for this company, should you get a part of it? And there are companies actually building that out. So your own data can be owned as NFTs too.
And it's great that people are building these types of platforms, but what I'm hearing is that they are competitors to the Meta, owner Facebook and Instagram, to the YouTube, which Ben mentioned, and even the aforementioned OpenSea. Fantastic people behind the company. Some things that we see that they're doing are really diligent, but behaves quite centralized, behaves like a Web 2 platform. They can take down NFT projects at will if they choose. So what's missing, Soniya? Do we need time? Do they need time to grow? Because they don't appear to be present for creators like Ben to use today to market their projects.
Absolutely. Rome was not built in a day. And I think Ben and I, that was what we were discussing earlier. And one thing that Ben said, I'm sorry I'm stealing that from you, but one thing that I was like, okay, we need to really high five.
We can credit Rome was built in a day as an original quote to Ben Mauro. You heard it here. Never has been said before. It's still credited to Ben.
Yeah. No, not for that. You didn't let me complete my sentence. What Ben said earlier was, it takes time to build something of quality. And right now in the NFT space, what we see is the projects having very ambitious roadmaps and people expecting those to be built in a couple of months' time. And I'm going to defer to Ben because he was the one that brought it up. And I was like, yes, let's high-five to this because, again, Rome was not built in a day. And if you want to build something that has quality, that is going to last for at least a few decades, if not years, if not centuries, quality is important.
Yeah.
We want to thank the three panelists so much. Thank you for sharing. You can certainly have a final word.
Sure.
Thank you. No, I just want to thank you, Ian. Thank you all for our time here. Big round of applause for Soniya Ahuja, Orbis86, stand with me, and Ben Mauro, Huxley, and the ghosts of Bloomy and Phoenix who are here with us spiritually today. I'm Jordan French, Grit Daily. Until next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.